alter your state, and manifest efficiently. When we're asleep, we're in a completely different state. There's different processes occurring in the brain. There's almost no brain activity when we're asleep compared to when we are awake. So sleep is a different state to being awake. Now, those aren't the only two states that we experience. There are other states in between wakefulness and sleep that we experience on a daily basis. Let's look more into what I mean by that. So, when we are awake and alert, our brain is resonating at a specific frequency. This frequency is known as beta. This is wakefulness. So what I mean by our brain is resonating at a specific frequency, our brain can now be measured using special equipment, and they've discovered that there are waves which are emitted by our brain when we are in different states. So this state is known as beta, which is wakefulness. And when we are overthinking, when our mind is highly stimulated and overthinking about something, or highly anxious, our brain is resonating at gamma. When we're trying to solve a complex mathematical problem or a problem, we're in the analytical state of using our brain to its utmost capacity. We are resonating at alpha. And when we are asleep, almost no brain activity. This is known as delta. And now what we are interested in is the state in between alpha and delta. And this state is called theta. And this is the state that we're interested in. This is a state we need to learn to get into if we are to learn to pass a message from the conscious mind into the unconscious mind to manifest our reality more efficiently. Now, theta is a state that we experience all the time. You're probably in theta right now, because theta is the state you're in when you're watching television. You're tranced out, and whatever's happening on the television is affecting you, right? Because your unconscious mind is absorbing everything that you're staring at. And if it's a sad film, you start to feel sad inside. When it's a happy film, if it's an exciting film, you start to feel that way inside. The reason for that is the barrier between the conscious and the unconscious mind is thin, and I'll get more into that in a second. But theta is also a state of daydreaming. It's the same brainwave state. It is a state of meditativeness when you're doing meditation. It's a state of self-hypnosis, and we'll get more into that as well. And it's the state of what we call hypnagogia and hypnopompia. Hypnagogia is the state which you're in just before you fall asleep, and hypnopompia is the state you're in just before you wake up. Do you know that state you're in when you are driving home from work? And you're thinking about something, you're thinking about lunch, you're thinking about dinner, you're thinking about what happened during the day, and then suddenly you're already home. You don't remember turning left or right or stopping at the traffic light. You went into an altered state, into autopilot. That altered state is once again theta, right? And now when we are in theta, now we have a conscious mind and we have an unconscious mind. We already spoke about the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and the process behind manifestation and this model in a previous video. So click up here to find that video if you haven't seen it. So we have the conscious mind and we have the unconscious mind. And now in between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, we have the critical factor. So this critical factor is like the gate that decides what should enter the unconscious mind or not, right? It's like a gate, it's like a guardian that prevents the entry of certain messages or suggestions to the unconscious mind. In the state of theta, what happens is this critical factor becomes partially open, right? So when I mean partially open, it means you have the ability to consciously, the conscious mind, input a suggestion that is favorable to you, that you want to manifest into the unconscious mind, right? So you can send your message, your visualization, your manifestation, whatever it is, to the unconscious mind. And then by the process we already described earlier, the unconscious mind can send it to the collective, and then the collective will do the rest in terms of manifestation. But we want to understand this model as to why an altered state of consciousness is important for for manifestation and planting a message or a suggestion into your unconscious mind. Now there are many ways that we can do this. One simple way is just by using breath, and I'll make a completely separate video on different types of breath and how we can use it to alter our consciousness and for other cool stuff. So hence why before any meditation, before any sort of spiritual practice, we close our eyes and we just breathe for a second, because breathing is very important. Breathing itself and closing our eyes takes us within ourselves. Closing our eyes shuts down one sense. By shutting down one sense, the sense of sight, all the other senses get more enhanced and we are forced inside. We are forced within, and when we go within, we start to drift from this waking state into this theta state which we want. Does that make sense? So those are a few ways we can do it. Another way, which I find very effective, is using self-hypnosis. Now, self-hypnosis is also a very effective way of getting to this theta state, because when we are in self-hypnosis, this critical factor is very thin. And also in the science of self-hypnosis, there are ways in which we can effectively craft suggestions so that we can suggest them in such a way that the unconscious mind is more likely to accept it and make that a reality for us. So I hope this makes sense. Thank you all and take care.